Dun, 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 dun. And I think we are about to go live. So um, I'd like to say hello. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to joining us for OreAni, the 2025 end of the year. Well, actually, end of the fall season, but also the end of the year. Um, if you've been watching us for a while, you know we're just here to talk about the current season that just ended and talk about the shows that we've watched individually and how we rate them, how we like them. So I hope you enjoy what we have to say about him. If you have any comments, feel free to share them, and also let us know what shows you've watched or dropped, because we got quite a few that we've dropped as well. Um, Today, for the first title, we're going to cover Akuji Reijo to Kyoketsu Kyoshaku Sono Momo Watashi ga Oishiku Itadakimasu. Which sounds really long, but in English, it's Past the Monster Meat Milady. And it was a 12 episode series that was one of my highly recommended shows for last year for romance. It was just really, really great storytelling, and it caught me really easily into its narrative. Um, we got, give me 1 second. We got Melf, which is, I can't remember which family she's in. I can't remember if it's like a baron or count or something like that. But she's known as um, to be the vicious villainess because she, rumor has it that she eats monster meat, which it is true, she does. And because of her having eaten monster meat, everyone sees it as something bad and looks down upon it. And so she's actually a lady well into her marriageable years that's been kind of left to the side and is being pushed to be, you know, joined into a marriage because of her status. During one of these parties, she so happens to meet, I believe he's a duke, but he's also known with his sharp eyes, being like this bloody, very voracious person. But as she watches him slay a monster, she kind of falls in love with his strength and how he's able to slay these monsters, which she sees as nothing but mere ingredients. And because she doesn't shy away from him, he also kind of sees her as this great potential for himself as a love candidate. I mean, I think they do love each other um, at first sight. So he courts her, and she, you know, in the same vein, just like I accept, she loves it. So the story's about those two kind of going through their differences and how to about getting their families to allow them to become with each other, and also for her to kind of accept that he accepts her, and also how to get everyone to accept her and her ways and incorporate into his domain, because having the monster meat will have a big boon in their kingdom and will help save a lot of people. So it's a wonderful, wonderful romance, and one of the highest recommend for this season. Anyone else have anything to say? Or
I think you forgot to say why people don't think eating monsters are a bad idea. So the
that's
whole thing
right.
about in this setting is that eating monsters have too much. I think they call it mana in them. So you eat it and you just get sick. So they're not good for food. But Melfi, her mom, developed this method to extract the mana, essentially poison, right, for from the monsters, so that you could eat them just like you would a beast, not a monster. So um, that's what she's trying to improve upon, but she's run into all this opposition because of societal taboo. And the Duke is the first person who, well, yeah, the first person besides her dad, I guess, that has accepted her and her research. So, yeah, that's an important aspect of the setting. I've been reading the manga. I still am, and it is very cute. I will mention that the animation does drop off. Um, Somewhere around, I think episode 5, I noticed characters, certain scenes were going off model, backgrounds weren't moving. It's typical. So it's not of the highest quality, but if you're into the romance aspect, if you're into like the world setting, the world building, I think it is a good show. So just be aware that the animation doesn't necessarily live up to it all the way to the end.
I'll have to admit, I was there for more for the romance, so I don't think I ever noticed the quality shift because it never really was the biggest thing to me. So, um, but I'll have to rewatch and see if I can notice anything next time. But I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
yeah, especially like just if they go so if they zoom out slightly, so like when they're on top of the dragons, no, wyverns that they're riding, you'll see their face is not detailed at all. It's off model. And there are many other scenes like that. So yeah, take a look. But overall, it's not bad. It's better than some of the new anime that's airing this season. So
As long as there's no CG horses that are totally off.
yeah.
that's that's my whole standard of bad or good, right there. Let's see. But yeah, like I said, highly recommend it for this year's romance, or not this year, but this season's romance title. Even though I think there's another one out there that was a big talk at the beginning of the season, but I dropped it really early. We'll maybe get to that a little bit later. But next up, let's see here. It's the Assassin show. Uh, my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes, so it's your isekai. Um, I did watch all of it, but I also kind of didn't because every time this show was playing, I was also doing art because it wasn't like my top tier show to watch. So if anyone wants to take lead on it, I can't really say too much about it other than that I honestly didn't really care for the story.
I thought it would be up your alley, but yeah. So this is a isekai. It is where a entire class as in a high school class, has been summoned into a kingdom, and they want obviously the summoned people who have a variety of classes, skills, etc., to grow strong and go fight the demon lord, or so they say. Something's not quite right, and our MC Akira, uh, you know, detects some sort of shenanigans, and he especially has a higher status, as the title says, than the so-called hero of the class. Um, so he's able to camouflage himself and kind of be in the background and not really uh, be properly um, analyzed, I guess, by the magical gem or whatever that tells everyone what your class and status and stats and skills are. And so that's how it begins. Now, the reason I watch this is I am reading the manga. The Anime has a lot of money behind it. It's Studio Sunrise, mostly known for backing a lot of mecha shows. Here they're doing isekai fantasy show, a little bit interesting in that respect. And then um, the quality remained very high. The character designs are a little bit more retro. It's kind of giving the pre 2000s vibes with angular features and such. Um, the story, it's pretty typical, but despite being called an assassin, he doesn't really kill anyone until the very end. Spoilers. So it's his struggle as a Japanese high school student who wants to return home and uh, the character growth that he has to go through and the decisions that he has to make to be able to survive in this world so he can return. And he makes friends and uh, uh, other allies as he embarks on this journey. So if you're into isekai, this is definitely, I think, one of the better ones. A lot better than uh, there's so many that are just so bad. But uh, so yeah, if you want good animation, decent story, and you're into isekai, this is definitely high up on the list of recommends. Um, Yeah, that's about all I can say. I mean, it wasn't my favorite. I just felt his struggles understandable, but kind of unrealistic. Uh, that he shies away from killing or so. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, thank you for sharing. Yeah, it really does look like a show I would be really into, but for some reason, just something about it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I just couldn't watch it. It played because we had to watch it for the anime week at our anime night, but I wasn't really paying attention. So next up is give me a second. Uh, how do you say this? It's really weird. Chichi wa eiyu haha wa seirei musume no watashi wa tenseisha. My dad is a hero, my mom is a spirit, and I'm a reincarnator. So here we are with a kind of another isekai. But though with the, I have to be fair with the title reincarnator, it's really hard to tell if it's going to be isekai or not. But this one is definitely one of those isekais. Um, of course, it takes place in your fantasy setting, but the girl that's been isekai'd is born to the daughter of the hero and the spirit queen, and um, as we go through the show, it's her kind of going with her father and kind of integrating into human society because she's been living amongst the spirits in their spirit kingdom or spirit realm because it's not really on Earth, I would say, um, or on the planet that they're at. And she's going home with her father, which is the hero that saved them all. And the kingdom really wants to get a hold of the powers of the spirits. But because of something that's happened in the past, all the spirits want nothing to do with the king, the the royalty. And so as the king tries to find ways to manipulate the hero, the father, and tries to find ways to try to get even his son to try to meet with the family in multiple occasions and also try to get help from them. Um, Ellen, which is the reincarnator, has to learn about why there's such a problem, such as this curse that's been put on the royal family that makes them hated and also not able to kind of get near them, and why there's such a bad history amongst them all, while trying to evade the kings and all of his plots to try to do things. Now, the strange thing about Ellen, which even though she's a reincarnator, her powers as a spirit um, is for some reason she's able to call upon elements and use elements to create different things. So at one point, she somehow creates diamonds and makes it rain, kind of like glittering uh, raindrops within a cathedral. And she also creates medicine and stuff like that using her abilities. So she does quite a bit to try to help the people and help everyone within this nation and to help her family. But again, she has to be careful and she does things and they try to protect her because of the king and his plots. So it's kind of this real fun little show. It is very bubbly with the mom and the dad being so overprotective and just being all like way too much half the time around her. But I found it really enjoyable and it was really fun to watch. So, um, of course, it doesn't come to a conclusion. We're still seeing how things are going to go. The prince has learned about what has happened and why the spirits cannot be or interact with the spirits. But the prince also, you could tell he wants to be with her not just because of power, but because he actually kind of likes her. So there's this little romance thing going on there. But I don't know if it would ever come to anything. We'll just have to see as we watch. But yeah, I like that isekai. Did you want to talk about Gynosia, Jess?
Sure. I gave this 4 episodes, and unfortunately I ended up dropping it. The premise sounded really interesting. It's about a group of people on a spaceship, and there are aliens who are able to make perfect copies of people, and their goal is to kill everyone on board. So it's like the werewolf game, a social deduction game. And this anime is based on a video game of the same name, but it's pretty clear after watching what I did that this type of story is not really suited for any format that isn't a video game. There are game mechanics that would make sense in a game which do not translate over into a passive medium at all. And the whole thing with the deduction is you can't really do it because you don't know who any of these characters are. After 4 episodes, I feel like we should get a sense of their personalities and their quirks and maybe their habits, and we didn't get that. It could be that because every single episode you basically get the bad ending of the game, the pace is just too fast to really establish the characters in the world or anything at all. And so it's just this constant rotation of characters trying to figure out who the Nosha is and failing to do so, and then having to do the same thing in the next episode with maybe a couple different rule sets involved. Um, so it was all just very not fun to watch. And I wouldn't really recommend it. I would recommend checking out the video game, which is what I plan to do at some point. So that's all I really got to say.
All right. Let me just hide the title because I don't have the title card for the next one. The next title we'll be talking about is Let This Grieving Soul Retire, Second Core. But I think it was a split core because did it come out last season? I can't remember. I think it was a. I can't remember when the first core came out. But it's a continuation after where you left off in the first season again, with Korai Andrehi as the main character within this world. It's put into, again, just a lot of weird situations. It is one of your fantasy shows that isn't an isekai, but it does follow a lot of the same tropes, such as him getting into a lot of really unlucky situations, but everything works out for him in the end in such a way that people think that he's able to tell the future or that he has super inhumane powers that just bend common sense. But to him, he's just trying to live life and doesn't even know half the things that are going on. And a lot of it's just being manipulated by his party members. So within the first season, we kind of met him and two other party members out of the 8 of Strange Grief. And by the end of the show, we do get to meet all of them. Actually, midway through the show, we get to meet all of them. We get to meet his sister, Lucia, and the Smart Sister's brother, and the sword wielding maniac within their team. We're still missing one member, actually. She is kind of shown near the end, but she hasn't met up with them. But it covers the next 3 books. It seems like the first season took the first 3 books, and now we covered the next 3. So right now, I believe Volume 9 is still being translated on J Novel. So if they're still doing a 3-book arc, there's probably enough that they can kind of start getting started on the next season. And I can't wait to continue to watch this, but it's just more of cry. But we do get to see other members like Starlight, Chris, joining him within a mission, and also we get to learn about some other enemy factions such as Fox and the Barrel Gang, I believe it was called. So I think in the first one was Akashi was the enemy force. So this is my stupid little guilty pleasure show. I'll keep on rewatching it because it's just that fun for me. But I kind of wish more people loved it. But I know it's not for everyone. It does do something that reminds me of like what was it called? I think it was Durara, where it'll play the opening, and then parts ways through the opening it kind of shows like things that are happening or stuff that might happen as it continues the opening song, and it goes into the rest of the show. Which I remember Durara kind of doing that, which is really fun. Next up, Ranma 1/2, Season 2.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this one. Except that it's just as good as the first one. So if you like the first one, you will like the second season.
I have a quick question though.
Sure.
I do remember Season 1. I think it left off with what was it? Shampoo leaving, right?
I don't remember.
So I was kind of curious, like, where does Season 2? Is it starting to differentiate from the original a lot now, or is it?
Ooh, it's been a while since I've seen the original, so I couldn't really tell you. From what I'm seeing is that they're following the manga timeline, at least from what I remember of it. Because the anime had quite a lot of filler and its own original storylines, and this is streamlining the story and cutting it down to just what was in the manga.
So have we met any new characters like Haposa yet, or?
Oh yeah, Haposai's in there. We got Ukyo this season. We got
Really,
some more
Ukyo?
Moose. Yeah, Ukyo's in there.
I didn't remember her showing up until like Season 4 or something. I swear.
That's what I'm telling you, is that the original anime had a lot of extra stuff in it.
Oh wow, okay. So that means Moose, you said, right?
Yep, Moose is there.
That means the
Uh,
grandmother too, right?
yes, but she was in the first season.
Oh, I don't remember that. I have to. Okay, I'll have to check that out definitely. Thank you for clarifying some stuff for me.
Sure thing.
While we have you, how about can you talk a little bit about the next title? Um,
Uh,
it's
what is
the
that one?
May I ask for one final thing, actually, Jessica?
Oh yeah, this this one, oh man, this turned out to be the sleeper hit, at least for me, of this season. Is I read a synopsis and I thought, yeah, sure, what the heck, I'll give it a try. It's a pretty light season for me in terms of the series that I'm following. And I ended up falling in love with this one head over heels. Is that Scarlet punched me right in the heart and is just a wonderful character to have. Um, Pretty good animation throughout. There's a couple dips in quality towards the end, but all of the animation resources got put into the fight scenes, which makes perfect sense. And so those are beautiful as always. But I really liked the twist on the genre of the villainous and the reincarnated character coming into the Otome game and all of that jazz. It's, oh gosh, so many laugh out loud moments for me on this one. Highly, highly recommend. If you like silly humor and juxtapositional humor, I think is what really nailed it for me in this one.
So I will admit that that shocked me to find out that this was actually kind of like an isekai.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of thought that maybe that's what they were going for because the ending song had Terranetsa dressed up in all of these different outfits. So I kind of thought maybe there's something a little isekai adjacent with her. And then basically, well, I don't want to spoil the plot or anything for the people that want to see this. Um, but it all makes sense and works out in the end. And yeah, I really liked it. This was a great pick me up kind of a series.
Yes, a
I see
wonderful show.
Albert dropped it though. Tisk tisk.
Yeah, so I watched like the first two episodes, and I did watch the last episode to see where they would end it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's fun, and I've certainly been reading the manga. So the thing the thing for me is in the manga in the black and white, her outfits, it doesn't really bother me. But when I see it in color and how kind of ridiculous she looks with with a color scheme and then her kind of an half made, half dress, half something outfit, I was like, I know where the story goes and it's a fun ride, but I don't think I need to watch it in the anime. So it was one of those visually, it didn't quite jive with me, just like the one of the reasons why I dropped from Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman,
Oh
anime
gosh,
several
yeah.
seasons ago. The girl's outfit just was so horrendous. Even though that it is true to the light novel illustrations, I couldn't take it. So, but it's a fun show, and it's certainly if there's so many punchable characters, and she does
Yes.
exactly what you want her to go punch them in the face.
Yeah, so one of wonderful show. I would have to say that my favorite moments, and I liked how they did some visual changes with her hair later on. I thought that was really cool.
I thought
And
her eyes were beautiful too. I kept thinking while I was watching it, oh, I need to have Tank make me a Kyrie of this character.
I'll definitely make one. I've actually been wanting to make one, so I'll make one specific for you.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, just overall, just really fun show. it was very fun to see how her brother took everything and just exasperated over all the stuff that she goes through. So just her brother and his reactions were just so fun. And then, of course, you have the prince just over, over, like doing his whole play with her. It was just, I just those moments to me were just some of the greatest stuff. Like it doesn't, I won't take away from the animation and how some of those fight scenes and punches were, but just those little moments I thought were really fun, where he kind of toys with her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was it? I think it was Aniplex, a festival online. They had talked about this, and that's where I kind of first heard about it because they had the voice actor come out there, gloves and all, and everything, to promote the show coming out. So
Hmm.
it was really fun to finally get to see the show. Let me see here. But it's really interesting because I kind of want to pit it in that same vein as the villainess, but she really isn't a villainess. I mean, she was never kind of even classified as a villainess, right?
No, no, that's what I mean about how it kind of stands those tropes on their heads. Um, and especially with making the isekai mortal from our world be just an enemy and totally irredeemable.
Hmm.
That was kind of interesting too. Oh, and yeah, there's also the saint. She's also a saint somehow. It's like it just
Oh
took a
yeah,
bunch of stuff, a bunch of tropes, threw them at the wall, and went, "Let's play around with these."
I forgot about that part too. Yeah. All right, let's continue on. Going from beautiful to just, I guess, raunchy. We got hands off. Sawaranaide Kotek Sashikun. It's a 12 episode or 12-minute runtime, so it's one of those half episodes shows. But it is your super etchy uh, show of the season, where the boy becomes, I guess, I think he's the caretaker to this girl's dorm, but he's also kind of like heavily invested into sports therapy, massaging and everything. So he's given this ultimatum that if he doesn't help these girls become the best, because every girl in this dorm is supposedly the best at what they do, and if he doesn't help them perform in the top shape and everything, that something bad could happen. I can't remember exactly what happened or what they said to him. So he's doing everything he can to try to live a wholesome but also very productive life there to make sure these girls are able to pursue their best at the sports, to come number one. So it's got a lot of moments of just massaging and all those sounds you get from massaging, with visuals of them being felt like they're being touched naked. So they show all of that stuff. So um, if that's what you're into, that's your show. It doesn't really end anywhere. So we'll go to the next title here, which I have no idea what this is. What is this? Shabake?
This was a mystery show. It's on Crunchyroll. It takes place in the Edo period in Edo itself, and it's pretty historically accurate as far as I can tell. Anyway, one of the things that I really liked about it is that it shows you how the middle class lived, the merchant class, and what day-to-day life was like for those people, which isn't something that you get to see in anime a lot because it's typically samurai and, sword fights and rich people problems and magic and stuff. So this was relatively grounded in reality, except for the twist that yokai are everywhere and are constantly interacting with humans even if the humans are unaware of this. And the main character, Ichitaro, is chronically ill and has the ability to see and interact with these yokai, and he has two yokai that act as his guardians for, various reasons I won't get into. And it's a bit of a mystery. There's someone running around killing people in a very specific way, and he's trying to get to the bottom of it while navigating his illness and his overprotective attendants and mortal peril. It's pretty good. It's a solid one. I won't say that its strength is necessarily in the mystery, because a lot of times the mystery gets solved by just asking a yokai, "Hey, Mr. Kappa, did you find anything under the bridge?" kind of a thing. So mystery fans might not like that aspect of it. I don't think you could really solve it on your own. It doesn't lay out all of the clues. It's more about Ichitaro using his connections with the local yokai to suss out who the culprit is and then finally put a stop to the culprit. But I do recommend that you check it out. You'll know within the first probably 2 episodes if it's something that you'd like.
All right. And it looks like that's on Crunchyroll, so
Yep.
it's easy to get to at least. Next up. Oh, both titles are really long for this show. Give me one moment. How do you say this? I'll just say the English one because it's a little easier for me. My gift level 9999 unlimited gotcha backstabbed in a backwater dungeon. I'm out for revenge.
Okay, I forgot. I actually was forced to watch this. Um, oh, how many episodes did we watch where I finally just gave up? Like 5 or 6? Oh. Anyway, you take it away, Tank. Have anything good to say about this one?
um, it's your fantasy show, and it is based off of, I believe, a light novel, which also has a manga, which I've read the manga, and I'll admit, the manga has uh, has a lot of really detailed cover or pictures of these characters when they're introduced, which is kind of lost when you're watching the anime, because of course they have to make it a little more simpler to animate and such. So you do lose a lot of these really cool scenes that I was expecting. I'm like, oh yes, we get to see her in that famous pose. It just doesn't hit that same way like it did in the manga because of the lack of detail. But we still got a lot of the key moments within the show. I will say that in the first beginning of it, they kind of put more into the story than the manga did. So the whole first episode, uh, in the manga, it kind of only started with them, I think, in the dungeon, uh, where they kind of betray him, and then it continues on. Episode 2 was total filler. None of that I remember ever happening. And then it continues on with the normal story of the level 999, where he's venturing out to meet Garu, I believe it was, the wolf beast guy. And then he continues on to the elven territory later on at the end of the series. And we also get to meet a lot of his other character cards and learn how devoted they are to what's his name, Light.
Oh gosh, they won't shut up about it. They're just,
It's
oh, Lighto-sama, sticky.
yeah. So it is very. I mean, they're his life. He's the one that created them, I guess, in a sense. So it is kind of weird, and but they kind of somewhat balance it because it's not just the girls. Even the guys are very like passionate too. And while some may seem nonchalant, you, uh, they have that devotion and everything is just as bad as all those girls do. But I think I kind of know what you're talking about. I think it was episode 2 with all the maids, and they had a lot of that really zealous fever for him too, right? Which is
Yeah, I completely forgot about that episode because nothing of import happens.
yeah, that was all filler
It's
to
just
me.
that, yeah, none of the characters, if they can even be called that, really have a personality other than what they're wearing and how much they love light. Is that you could swap them around and you wouldn't even know. There would be no difference.
The only time you truly do learn about the characters, I believe, is only when they're fighting, because then they introduce themselves, and then you get to see how they differ from each other. But other than that,
But it's all
it's
mechanical differences. It doesn't have anything to do with their likes or dislikes because they're all the same. And it kind of goes the same with the villains too, is that they're all paper thin, one note, evil for the sake of being evil. Oh, wouldn't it be fun to, commit some evil deeds on the way to town? And there's just really nothing there. Um, it's pretty shallow, this one.
I'll admit for some of them it is that way. Like I think in the manga further on, there are some characters that have a way better story and why they're doing what they're doing. Although it's
Mm-hmm.
still not really for good reason, but it makes a little more sense why they're passionate or why they're kind of doing some of the stuff they did. But other than that, um, I don't know why I kept on watching it. It was just one of those things I just kept on watching because I will admit I dropped the manga because it just kept kind of got very
Mm-hmm.
bland. So I wasn't really expecting to continue watching this, but I I guess I did. But there's just so many characters they try to introduce that you kind of lose track of others, which is kind of sad. Like, oh, that one was interesting. Let's learn more about them. Nope, that's we're just going to show them for that
Nope.
one moment and then go to another character, kind of thing. So they don't really get you don't
And
get to build that attachment to a lot of these people.
for contrast, a show that does the whole fervent devotion thing right would be Overlord. Is that those characters are definitely um, ride or die stands or Eins, but they all have different personalities and they interact with each other uh, in accordance with those personalities. Oh, we lost Albert.
All right.
There he is. Anyway, I think Overlord did it better
Yeah.
in terms of that aspect of a character
I was
than what we
actually
got here.
I was actually thinking of Shadow of the Eminence when you said that for the beginning. The devotion of
Yeah.
characters. But yeah.
So, Tank, does he ever get back to his family? Because, I read the manga, I read the first volume, and it was not good, so I dropped it. And part of it was like he's talking about, oh, I gotta get back to my family, I gotta get back to my family. 3 years pass in the dungeon till he's OP. Okay, what happened to your family? So, does
He
he ever get
goes
back there?
back there. He goes back, and it's basically a charred, burned out village, right?
Okay.
Um, but I don't know if anything comes of it. Do you remember Tank? I think they said, oh, the parents are dead and the sister's alive or something.
So
Is he sold
um,
slavery?
they don't really give us any answers in the anime. If you want to know about information in the manga, it does go a lot deeper, and you can learn more.
I see.
Like, I'll just spoil it. Spoilers for anyone who's watching. Um,
Okay,
he
it's fine.
does learn where his sister is. His sister has survived, and he does go and retrieve her and learns more about how actually things did happen, how the village was burned, and how she survived all these years. So it kind of goes into that, and he's like super overprotective of her for her now. So they kind of do explain a lot of that, what happens to his family and stuff in the manga.
Okay.
But it's probably not until quite a ways in. I would say probably if it was a season two, it'd probably be midway in season two.
Wow. All right. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not gonna watch it. So, but thanks.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what's next. Besides the 9999999, we got Shumatsu Torin that was dropped. Sadness. Spy Family, which is on hold. I don't think any of us really watched all of it, so we can skip that. If you watched Spy Family 3, let us know if it was good, because we had a lot of other shows to watch first, I guess. Such as this Isekai. I forgot about this Isekai. I watched it every day on release date, but when it comes to remembering it afterwards, I kind of forget. The foodie one. There's the title card. Campfire Cooking in Another World by My Absurd Skill, Season 2. I know this was your show, Albert, but last season, right?
I mean, it's still good. I mean, the so let's see from last. Oh, what happened this season? Oh yeah, right. He picks up another familiar who is a pixie dragon, and then shenanigans as they always do. His familiars are all just super overpowered. Even the little slime Sui becomes super overpowered with some upgrades. Um, yeah, they meet some interesting characters. The dragon crazed guild master of that one town. Then they go to uh, the fishing village and defeat a kraken. So everything you loved in the first season is still there. The food still looks amazing. The little cooking tidbits from his online shopping, right, where he gets all kinds of ingredients and he cooks up all this food, and the food gives people special protection and buffs. All of that is still there, and the food still looks amazing. So if you like the first season, you probably still like the second season. Um, yeah, I watched it all and was it was totally enjoyable.
So I think doesn't he also gain two more deities, like gods?
Yeah, I think it's the god of war and the god of forge. Those are actual gods, not goddesses, as they, find out about this offerings that he gives to the goddesses, the four goddesses now. And he doesn't want any more special protection because he thinks he's overpowered, which is true. And so the divine protection gifts go to his familiars, which is they're already overpowered and now they're even more so. So it just takes like the usual OP trope and puts it on his familiars, and he's kind of like the side character to his familiars when action happens. But yeah, I mean, it's still highly enjoyable. So whenever there's enough material, there'll probably be a third season.
I do. The thing I do enjoy about this is that he's not really centered into one area. So like, he has been traveling a lot and going to different places, which is what I like because we're showing a lot of different areas and different places for them to hunt. And of course, like you mentioned, we got to meet a new guild leader, which was very eccentric, to say the least.
Very.
But uh, but it's always been fun, and if you watch to the end, they always have this like little chibi theater kind of thing at the end as well. Um, Other than that, I don't know what else to say about the show. It's just really enjoyable and fun to see. Um, Also, the goddesses always get upset with him because he goes through so much, and I kind of forgive him forgetting about the goddesses every once in a while and his offerings. But Highly
Yeah, their
recommend the
demand
show.
keeps growing.
Next up, I'm not going to talk about this too much because I believe it's continuing on for this continuing on this season, which is the Common Rider. So it's two core. So we're going to continue on with the into the winter season. I'm surprised no one else is watching it, but I will admit it's got me really interested in watching some of Common Rider to see some of the reference they're always talking about, and is it really something to get that passionate about? I will admit, though, from the offset of watching the beginning of it, I would have never expected to get to where we are at the end, or where we are right now. I thought it was just going to be a show about these men becoming like somewhat vigilantes that are going to be helping police the city of people pretending to be um, what are they called again? What's the enemies called again?
But oh, the
I'll,
organization, Shocker?
yeah, they just go me.
Which,
That's all I remember. But that organization is real in this world, which is what made me blew my mind, and it has brought a lot of questions into how the rest of the world is. Like, does a common rider really exist now? What's going on? What's really happening? So it's brought a lot of new intrigue to me about this, but I'm also surprised by um, how much the show hasn't annoyed me with all the yelling. 'Cause one of the big things I think it was for Black Clover that threw me off was that guy always yelling all the time. But in this show, every single one of their attacks comes with this yell that is a charging attack. Come in, punch. And they'll throw the punch, and then he just goes to do it again over and over, just yelling the same words. So you do got a lot of that going on, but surprisingly, it hasn't annoyed me to the point of dropping it. But it is a really fun, stupid show. Um, do be prepared for a lot of fan service from the. I don't know what her name is, but she goes as Takun or Tackle, because she basically undresses in front of everyone to put on her costume to get into the mood to fight. So,
mhm.
um, but it is. Oh, that's what they're called, shockers. Yeah, yeah. But it's changed so much from what I thought it was going to be. So I'm kind of excited to continue watching and see where it's going to lead up to. But it's continuing on, so we won't talk too much about it now. Dusk Beyond the End of the World. I thought it was looked really beautiful and was really fun. How come it got dropped?
Oh.
Did you watch it?
No, I did not. That's why I was kind of. I thought you guys were
Okay,
talking about it,
okay.
and I was about to watch it, but I'm like,
Uh, yeah. So this was PA Works like 25th, whatever, anniversary project, and it was not good. Like I watched up to 2.5 episodes. It made me quit in the middle of an episode because I couldn't stand it anymore.
What
So
episode did you quit out on?
it was three. It was three. So
Oh,
you know,
hey, same.
it has this interesting premise, right? Where okay, he wakes up from cold sleep and the world has, it's post-apocalyptic now. Except things don't quite make sense once you really start thinking about it. So the village he wakes up in is almost medieval, and then there's these fascist organization that controls the world, and they have super weapons, right? So there's trains and other, guns and super weapons, and then I forget what happens in episode two. They discover that there are other androids, just like what's the girl's name? Toa, right? Who looks just like his sister, but
No,
they're not. Wait,
Yugure, right?
yeah, wait, are they blood related? I think they're blood related. Anyway, weird shenanigans and things. So that's in explained in episode 0, which I would not recommend you watch. I don't watch it, but episode zeros tend to be like a side story or a background story, and it doesn't direct it, although it may directly connect with the series. It's not a good starting. So just watch episode 1 and you'll see. So, it's flashy, the animation, all of that, but the story just is lackluster. In episode 3, the girl that wants to become a artist and is of a ethnic minority, I want to say. Um, she gets captured and MC Kun goes to rescue her. They skip over exactly how he got into a secure military base, and he kicks open the door and rescues her. And on the way out, you know, Toa comes in and also rescues them. But it made no sense. Um, and she's now part of their growing family. uh, it was awful. It was just awful. So I'm just going to try to forget that this is a PA work. So disappointed. Jessica, what did you think?
Pretty much the same thing is that the episode 0 was double length, and it spent the majority of its runtime trying to set up a romance between this genius girl who invents AI that makes some people upset and her stepbrother. But I don't really care about their romance. I want to go into, okay, well, is this AI and the technology and all of that going to be the theme of the show? Shouldn't we be spending more time setting up the world and why people don't like her AI? And for her, it was just, oh, I made a thing and people don't like it and I'm sad. And it's, did you ever maybe think about why people would be upset, especially because we're now dealing with AI in the real world? Um, it seemed to be a really weird hill to die on. But anyway, things happen, the world ends, main character Kun gets put into a cryogenic thing, and so he basically fast forwards through time. And he's trying to look for his sister, stepsister. And at least for me, the issue was that the the world seemed kind of cool, if nonsensical, but I could have run with that if the characters had been interesting, and they are not. They're not really fully developed. Um, they're kind of unlikable, what little bit we see of them. And the robot girl that shows up, she has all of the information that we need. And whenever main character Kun asks her, hey, could you maybe explain why we're being freaking shot at right now? She just goes, tee hee, that's information. Which I didn't buy for a second. It was cute when Asahina did it. It is not cute here. And it just, I dipped out in episode 3 because the show wanted me to root for two siblings getting married. And I was just, you know what? I just can't anymore. I just can't. And yeah, so do not recommend. It sucks that this was their anniversary special. I was really looking forward to this one.
So, brother sister relationships stop at OreAni or OreImo, sorry, right? There's so many brother sister stuff, gosh, out there.
Yeah, it just, can we not, people?
And then they always try to get pass it by with what's that? We're stepbrothers. We're not related.
Yeah, so that's what the original pairing was, is that they were step siblings, which is still kind of gross. And then the other relationship was they were half siblings, so they weren't full siblings, but I'm sorry, that's still just as bad. And it didn't nothing really made a whole lick of sense. Because there's also a team of evil robots that are clones of his sister or something running around killing people, which, okay, I guess. I don't know.
I did see clips on what was it, like Instagram or TikTok. I can't remember which one. That's why I was kind of interested in checking it out. But I was gonna wait to hear from you guys. That's why I was surprised that it was like no one or you guys dropped it. I was like, I thought it was good since I saw clips and stuff, but I guess not.
Mm-mm.
Shocking. Okay,
Skip.
let's go. Let's go to the next title, which I didn't finish, sadly, but it seems you two did. The watashi wo tabetai hito den denashi. Did I say that? Hito denashi.
Yeah.
The monster wants to eat me. Are very light novel esque anime or visual
It's
novel, I should say. Very visual novel.
I felt the lack of budget on this one. The animation wasn't necessarily horrible or puru puru tengoku tier, but it was definitely limited, and you knew that they were doing the best they could with the resources that they had. I would say that there are standout vocal performances by the Seiyu in this series. Hina is got to be a really difficult character to voice. To sound sad but not wooden is probably a pretty difficult line to walk. And the voice actress just did a great job. I want to read the manga of this. That's how much I liked the story. And I kind of feel like it might be the best way to consume this story because the animation just isn't anything special to write home about. It's probably average, average to below average quality, maybe C minus territory. Albert, you watched this one. What did you think?
I've yet to watch the final episode, but I
Oh,
can tell you that it's fine. I've read the manga. I know where the story goes. Blah blah blah.
okay.
It ended about where I thought it would end. The animation itself is okay. Like you said, it's passable, and they do cut corners as much as they can. So, for example, when they chibify, there's no background, right? Or just a bright colored background. They're
Mm-hmm.
putting any effort into it. So, but to me, the manga is very atmospheric, and even though there are chibi moments in the manga, just like you would see in like Apothecary Diaries, right? The
Mm-hmm.
issue is a lot of this is internal monologue. So in the manga, you're just reading it. You're reading Hina's uh, thoughts as she goes through it. In the anime, she has to say it out loud, and it's very awkward when you translate that into a moving uh, medium with sound, right? Like anime is supposed to be. Internal monologues do not translate well. So I did not feel that they tried to get around that. It's hard to get around, I know, and you would have to do a lot of rewrites. But there was a ton of internal monologue, and by all the characters almost. So it's a hard story to adapt to anime. Um, in addition, I did not really like Shiori's monster. I mean, it's not a spoiler. She is a monster, and her monster form, I did not like it in the anime because
Mm-mm.
in the manga, uh, I think at several points they describe like the mermaid as having, a kind of coral. Really, because in the anime she looks like a monotone seaweed color. So I was really disappointed in that. So early on, the animation looked great, crisp, a lot of character expression. But later on, I don't. I did feel that it was trying to cut too many corners. So
Hmm.
there is that issue, and the manga is still ongoing, so the story wasn't going to conclude, just come to a end of an arc, and there are many of those. So overall, I would say if you like the first episode but are kind of disappointed in the rest, you might want to go check out the manga. It certainly is very pretty manga. I know it's kind of a Yuri bait, but the story is a little bit more deeper than just that. And yeah, and shout outs to the all the VAs. Hina is with Reina, who also voiced Reze and Chainsaw Man. She has range. I've been really impressed with her recent performances. She also sings the most of the EDs. There's a couple where EDs that are different, so watch through. Um, yeah, so overall, there are good things about it, but there are also limitations to how they adapt that story to anime. So that was my experience.
I think I will be checking out the manga.
All right. Now, I will say, for what I've seen, I really enjoyed it, and it was mainly because of the VAs and how they portrayed the feelings and the moments. I honestly really got captivated, just like Hina in those scenes where she focused on her eyes and everything, and just there was just some beautiful imagery sometimes within the anime that I really enjoyed. But I kind of can't remember. I got pretty far where I think I did see her mermaid form, and I did learn about those two's history, but I can't remember if it explained like one question I really have, which is about mermaids, because I know in Japanese folklore, isn't there like a thing where if people eat mermaid meat, they become immortal?
Yes, I've seen that repeated in several manga that feature mermaids, but it's usually a monkey's paw sort of immortality.
So I was wondering, is that ever put into this kind of show or anything mentioned or?
Yeah, it is mentioned. So that comes into somewhere in the middle, it's mentioned, but then it does come back later in the manga beyond this anime season. So
Okay, so it does follow the typical mermaid thingy of the immortal. Okay, I was just curious about that because
yeah, the mermaid story is probably most famously done by Rumiko Takahashi, right? And the mermaids uh Tears, Mermaid's Forest, Mermaid. I think she had like
Star.
three major stories, right? So yeah, people only in that story, only a small percentage of people who actually eat mermaid's flesh gain immortality and retain their own shape. Right? Everything else, everybody else turns into a monster. So it's kind of like, you got to draw the ace of spades out of a 52 card deck, or you're gonna not like it, that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of, it makes me think of like sometimes what is it? Some of those vampire stories where they don't become vampires, they become ghouls or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah. So I think that's it. Surprisingly, very short this season. Shows to talk about. Um,
yeah. There are some good movies too that I went and saw.
what
Right
was that?
now, Yeah, real quick, I saw the Chainsaw Man movie in theaters, The Res Arc. It's fantastic. I highly recommend you watch it when I think, is it available on Crunchyroll now? It might be.
Let me
The
look.
other film I saw and I really enjoyed was 100 Meters. It's now playing on Netflix, and I highly
Hmm.
recommend it. It's a very unique sports anime, but the author this was the same author as Orb, and I think this is before he wrote Orb, so you kind of you know see his development. It is highly character driven. Um, the animation style is pretty unique. There is clearly a lot of rotoscoping, mm, and that's a whole another process that the director went through. But yeah, I highly recommend you check it out. It's relatively short for a film. I think it's only like 93 or 94 minutes. I might be wrong about that, but 100 meters on Netflix. Definitely check it out.
Will do.
So it looks like on Crunchyroll they got Chainsaw Man compilation movies, 1 and 2, and then they also have Chainsaw Man a stage play for season 1. So
Okay.
it's a reimagine on this. Yeah, so that's they don't have the Rize movie on there,
Uh, all right.
but I might have to check that stage play. That'd be kind of interesting to chase.
I always like to watch them, even if they are kind of cheesy.
Yeah, like the
There's
prison
something.
tennis ones. I watched those back
Oh,
in the
I haven't watched that, but
day.
I don't know. They seem nostalgic for some reason to me, and I like them.
I know there's a few movies coming out. I think in Japan, which is Changes in My Heart movie, which I think is just the whole season put into a movie format. So I don't. It may have some new scenes, and I think also within this next season we're supposed to be getting the new Madoka movie, right?
I
Oh, are we?
think so. Yeah. In U.S. theaters, All You Need Is Kill is next week, starts next week.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah,
there's
and
something else more recently.
uh,
Can't remember.
yeah, there's a lot of things listed here. I'm trying to see what's actually might be. Uh, it looks like there's a movie on Netflix that's coming out in 10 days called Cho Kaguya Hime
Hmm.
or Cosmic
Yes.
Princess Kaguya.
Yeah, and then there's another something coming to. I think I posted something Prisma or Prism. Um, that'll be on Netflix too.
So,
I'll post it in Discord.
all right, we'll have to check those out. Um, Here it says, oh, that's 45 days. That's 31 days. This one's the Madoka movie's in February. All You Need Is Kill. It says it's already released. There's a Gundam movie coming out in 17 days in Japan. So there's quite a few movies to be excited about, at least. What's Have you guys heard of Labyrinth? Supposedly it's already out, so I don't know.
Labyrinth?
Yeah. Here,
I don't think so.
I'll put a link here so you guys can look at it. I don't know. It says it's released, so I'm kind of wondering what this is. But I guess we'll talk to everyone in a few weeks as we do the start of the new season, the new year. Um, do you guys want to make any shout outs or something to point out for next year?
Just watch more anime.
Watch good anime.
Yes, yes.
Ah, it doesn't even be good.
Oh, Oh, you and my husband would get along. He's the one
I'll
that
check
made me
out
watch
some
that
classics.
stupid 99999 or whatever it was.
Also, uh, I am surprised with a lot of Albert has been sharing quite a bit. If you go to our Discord about some audiobooks that you can get really cheap or free sometimes, that are anime light novels um, that appear here and there. And I've been listening to quite a few, and they're really fun. I'll admit there's been, I think, maybe one that I didn't get or I didn't want to listen to anymore because of the reader. But overall, everyone else has been really fun and listening to read these audiobooks. So if you can't get your anime, maybe check out listening to an audiobook while you work or something.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'd like to thank everyone for uh, giving me your time to be here every single time. And I hope we have a wonderful year coming to 2026. And I can't wait to hear your opinions and also learn about more places you go to. Because we got a lot of conventions, Japan, and stuff to do. Bye bye, everyone.